So yeah, we uh, yeah, you all at the moment are looking at the map of Cerdonia, and the red and the blue markers are where all of the Trojan sites had been marked on the map that you had found in the island of Polyphemus, and the red are where Acamero had falsified on the map that was given to the council. Now, before we begin, I just want to say, I just want to say this, just a small thing, before we begin, because I know we're a little bit pressed for time. One
Gotcha.
of the things that I'll fill you in on a little bit of information. One of the reasons that unfortunately Group One had decided to disband. One of the reasons that was provided to me was that they felt like they didn't have a stake on the world. Like all they were in this world past were watchers. They were just observing what was going on, but they didn't really seem like they could impact what was really going on. They could uh they could do stuff within, but they didn't feel like they could really do anything outside of that. That's all they seemed to be able. They just thought that their all they could do was just show up, see it all happen, maybe aid in some way, but not really have an impact. Now, whether or not that was true or not, I won't really get into details. I took that to heart. So, all I will say is that Akamero, all of your little choices there, all, all of this session is dedicated to the choices that you have made with this map.
Oh,
And with that,
That's
we will get straight into the campaign. So,
brushed right over that, huh? Oh
we're gonna
well.
just move on. We're just gonna go straight into it. All right. So, we find you all having having made your way to the docks. Lokir and one Cassian Ashford have seemingly gotten into a little bit of a heated argument. Have a little bit of a heated argument. Cassian not really wanted to talk about the whatever is there they don't want to. Lokir's trying to talk about uh trying to draw your attention to your arrival, and your arrival farther down the docks from where your remaining fleet is, along with Domus, is Captain Alaphus, standing atop his ship, kneeling, almost kneeling, but his foot is on the railing of the ship, kind of just like hunched over, looking down on you all as you approach. But getting a closer look at the ship that he is standing on, you realize that it is none other than the Windbreaker. As we get straight into it. Lokir, your conversation probably was interrupted by uh, from the last session as Cassian was saying, "See, we are here. Can we can we at the very least have this conversation within the confines of privacy?"
I don't know. I mean, the street looks private enough. I mean, who
No,
would pay attention to us, right?
We're
Just
quite
a
weird. I
blind
think
man and
a lot of people would pay attention to us without paying attention to us. Still, though, private show is better.
hey, show. Hey, we're here. Can we please just at least get onto the ship?
Sure.
Thank you. And he takes like a huff and makes his way onto the ship. Captain Olive kind of chuckles and then steps off of the railing to greet you all as you make your way onto the dock, uh, up through the, from the docks onto the ship itself. As you as you board the Windbreaker. On the ship, you see a few familiar faces, as well as some new faces. You see you see you see two unfamiliar, familiar figures. They wouldn't really be standing there. They kind of just be like moving about, kind of just doing their own thing at the moment. One of them you see, the dressed in pirate attire, a ghostly, what seems to be a ghost of some kind with a phantom head, but everything else seems humanoid. What little peeks out of his clothing is humanoid skin, um as he's dressed in all darks, a saber at the side, a like cutlass on the side, as he's kind of just like lounging around, not really doing anything, probably downstairs, even tending to the cannonballs, or to the cannon fire of this ship, which, looking along the side, has a massive row of fucking cannons that are all on the lower decks. You can see on the map the lower deck, and on the upper decks. There's a lot of package on this thing. And the other, to put it bluntly, it's a wereshark. It is a lycanthrope, humanoid hammerhead shark, that is
Just
just kind of
scary.
just resting itself on the back, against the wall, kind of just like sitting there, looking uninterested as he kind of just watches you all board. On top of that, there's Cassian, and then there's also the spy that you had met before, that at least a few of you had met before, back on the island of Polyphemus. There's also Macaria, which is at least known to one of you, but you all saw briefly as the one that teleported the Asphodel Syndicate out of the island itself, and stepping down from the top, from the upper deck, of the one end of the ship, is Captain Alephus as he walks over to greet you all.
Quite a
Kind of,
crew.
he walks up to Cassian as he says, "Thank you, Cassian. That will be all." Cassian gives like a nod, and he just looks over to Lokir, and he's just be in the lower decks as as he goes to walks past Captain Alephus and the rest of the crew. As Captain Alephus uh, approaches, he says, "Well, welcome, or in some cases, welcome back to the Windbreaker. This is my ship. I will be using this ship at the very least to accompany you on your voyages to all of the Trojans, and also I believe your own fleet, as well as tortoise. That one still coming with us, because he looks to Loki here.
Really.
Of course, that's coming with us.
Fine by me. Well, the tortoise is also now officially part of the fleet. I don't know how you feel about that, but congratulations. And also, Viserys, as you approach him, he is you see him kind of just like, there's a bit of like worry. There's a little bit of worry as he's kind of just like eyeing you as well, but he's still communicating and like talking, trying to ignore you, but he also has like an eye on you. As he says, "Well,
Yeah. Uh,
what's up?"
yeah. This is awkward.
Yes, quite.
Um, Suppose I'll be calling you captain of my ship.
Well, we can both agree that it was Zephyrus's.
Very well, Captain. What is our current mission?
Well, our current mission is to prepare for departure, but but while we prepare for departure, I believe I will be summoned to some form of war council with the rest of the captains to discuss certain matters involving uh uh where will we be where we will be assigned, or rather which locations we will be assigned to. Can I see that? Can I see that map? Did you get that map back that you put the little false locations on?
Yeah. I'll go and hand it over.
You. He looks at it. You guys can make an insight check, whoever wants to.
Oh boy, the consequences of my actions.
The consequences of your actions.
The Patry twins
The
are
consequences
notorious
of
for
your
their
fucking
insight.
As per usual, the aliens not a lot of insight into those actions. Okay.
Stand
Anybody
by.
else?
Sorry, guys. I didn't have my screen. Yeah. Stand by.
One higher.
Checks out.
Can we get a 12?
John, you
It's
his
better.
features again are like very highlighted in your vision. And with that highlighted vision, you can see his eyes kind of wide. And originally he had kind of sort of a smile. It kind of went away a bit as he was talking with Viserys, and then came back as he went to go get the map and was discussing the plans moving forward. Like, you just see it all just drop at the side of the map. He takes a good 10-second look at the map, and his face is just drop. And then he looks up at you. Do you know what you as you see? He is interrupted as a flash, what sounds like crackling lightning appears, and a figure now appears on the deck of the ship. As he says, "Hello, I am representative of Hermes, of Counselor Hermes. I am here to escort you to the war room, or at the very least, inform you of the war room. I don't think I should be able to escort you. I would give you whiplash, break your neck."
Interesting.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Sorry, just Captain Solly and
Oh.
Captain Aliphus kind of just would I be able to bring any Politegos? As he gestures to Viserys. Now, Viserys and those who are a part of the Ilios, and also probably, well, yeah, those who are a part of the Ilios know that Politegos, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, I might be wrong, is the actual name they use for lieutenant. As he gestures to Viserys, as he says, didn't really ask, don't really think so. For safekeeping, the only people that are able to come are the Lotagos that are going to be accompanying. As he gives, he just gives the most freakishly like uncomfortable smile, like just as Captain Aliphus just says, very, very well. Look here, with your sight, you're able to see that he kind of looks to you and like nudges his shoulder, or like kind of like moves his tilts his kind of head like a little nod to his shoulder, as he says, "Right, very well. I shall make my way over to the war room." And the man and the speedster says, "Great, thank you very much," and shoots off.
I hate those guys so much.
Hermes kids.
So, does anyone here have any idea of what terrible mistake I've made?
I don't know.
I will talk about that later. He said, And you see the Hermes kid comes back and he says, "Oh, by the way, sell swords." He points to Arya and Akamero. He says, Your presence was requested by Counselor Hephaestus. Don't really know why. See ya."
Ooh.
He
Our
shoots off.
payment is given by the Forge God. Forge Captain, I guess, in this case. Oh. Wait. Why would he give us payment? Wouldn't it just been better to have Flash just give
Sorry,
it
I
to
was
us?
supposed to bring an escort. He now has in his hand, like grasping by the shoulders, just an automaton, just a huge automaton, with that seems like a warrior, but also these Viserys and Viserys and Lokir. Sorry, I'm mixing. How am I? Okay. Viserys and Lokir, you guys recognize these as automatons of Hephaestus, which are sort of the infantry, but also can be. They're all variations of automata, uh, rivaling that of the sailing city of Muspelheim. But he is just massive, super tall, even towering over one like Viserys, just looking at all of you as the speech says, "Sorry, I was supposed to bring this thing. He was supposed to take you over to Hephaestus. See ya." And he shoots off again.
This day's somehow getting worse.
As the automaton kind of just looks around, he says, "Arya and Arya and Akamero Batir, I am to escort you to Hephaestus." As you see him like gesturing with his two hands to the door, to the boardwalk down to the dock.
This automata seems standard issue, like obey all orders or
Seems like
free
standard.
will.
You've seen this thing on the battlefield. This is standard infantry for Hephaestus. They look a little bit different depending on Ilya from the Aenis versions that Vulcan makes. But yeah,
Yeah.
they look like standard infantry.
I just want to walk up to it and try to like finger up in the air like a doctor does to like an optometrist does to like check your eyes, like see if it'll follow my finger.
Its entire head just rotates. What are you doing?
I'm
It
gonna
has
have to do
minor
like 30
symptoms.
experiments on the way. Like
Walking while experiment. It has mild sentience, it appears. Quite unfortunate.
Indeed,
eh,
I am well aware of who you are and what you have done for the council.
Right.
Does this
Well, we
automaton
appreciate the
record-
acknowledgement.
Your presence is requested by Counselor Hephaestus. You are to receive a boon for your actions.
Oh, I like boons. They're so nice.
they're great. All
I am
right.
also-
Well,
I am also to escort Lieutenant Viserys and Lokir.
all right.
Huh. Well, they're going to a war room, and we're getting paid. So what could go wrong?
You know, it pays to have friends in high places.
It just pays to pay, doesn't it?
That too.
Only the
Alright.
root of all evil, but commerce needs to survive.
Okay.
All right.
Look here, you seeing Elephas, what he had done with his shoulder, you kind of have the understanding that he was intending for you to have your raven kind of set itself on his shoulder so that you can observe the meeting that he partakes in. Do you want to do that, or do you because you can continue with them, you just be completely blind and they kind of have to like guide you, but or do you just want to just go with them without the raven being on Alephus? I'm basically asking, do you want to observe the war room, or do you want to just go with and receive this boon?
I mean, I can do both. I surely will not need my eyes. I mean, I can have it teleport to me. So yeah, it will probably be fine. Yeah, leave it with sure with Alphys. Why not? We're such good friends after all.
Okay.
You have to hold your hand there.
Yeah, someone's going to have to. I'm going to have to have my hand on someone's shoulder so that will guide
I
me.
guess I will hold his hand.
Someone's gonna have to guide the blind man.
Yes, I will do that.
Alrighty.
That I do this boon for you.
I do appreciate, but do not mention it to people. It's anyway.
Okay. The automata also explains that there's a small bit of time before the actual meet and greet with Hephaestus. Probably something to do with the new assignments about the Trojan, because from what you remember from the council, Hephaestus also seems to be partaking in this search. So there's a small bit of time, which means that while you are on your way over to Hephaestus, by that time the meeting will you'll be essentially observing the meeting. So why don't we get started on the meeting? Which, by the way, you are able to in some way communicate with Alephus, I believe, through your Raven. So if you want to do that at any point during this war council, you can definitely do so. But with that, we're gonna get straight into the war council, because I feel like that information is a little bit the information regarding that a little bit more prevalent with current matters. But
Then the boons.
before he leaves, does he kind of just gives like a so do we have a specific place that we want to go? Do we have like a specific do we have a I'll also refer back to I'll also give you a view of the map of all of the different plots. Yes. He says he asks I'm essentially asking you where you all would like to start for Trojan. What's your game plan?
The blue is true, and the red is
The blues are
red
the
herring?
actual Trojans, and the reds are what Akamero told them was the Trojan sites.
blue is true, and red is a red herring. Okay. If anybody has any objections or any better ideas, please say so. I would think it'd be best to work our way from the outside, work our way farthest out and back in. That way, we have more of an opportunity to scout locations and report back. Oh, this wasn't here. This was here. We found this. Blah blah blah. All right. So, if you can go on the far side on that small island into the south east, Silva, that one with the blue dot, we can do that, and say we're going to the small island on the right.
Okay, so you're saying you're gonna start with Milaverta, but then you're actually going to Monty, or are you starting with Ampharina and going to Monty?
But no. Hold on. Maybe I'm not zoomed in far enough.
There's only like 3
No,
dots on Silva, and 2 of them are on the
Earth?
outside smaller island.
Yeah, those 2 smaller islands off the southeast end of Silva. There's a pair of islands there. Anyway.
Okay, so
like I said, if anybody has,
you're gonna start with one. You're gonna start with one, but then actually go to the other island.
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Captain Alephus
Um,
gives a. Yeah, I will start. I will start with that. Yes. And he makes a. He he definitely seems off. Something is up with him. But yeah, he makes his way off of the ship and begins making his way to the war room. While this is going on, John is currently incapacitated from watching through the Raven. What does everybody else want to do during this time? Because Hephaestus, because there's a small amount of time before the Hephaestus automaton is going to take you to the meeting. So if anybody wants to do anything for that small amount of time,
I got a bit of a grocery list to knock out, I suppose.
What
Okay.
time of day is it?
It's about midday, about right now. You guys had just shown up around sunrise at the city, and by the time you made it out of the council, by the time you left the council and made it back to the Windbreaker, it was probably around like midday ish. So it's still around midday right now.
Okay, so yeah, definitely want to get groceries, freshly butchered things, bloody to meat. That sounds good.
Okay. You can definitely send me a list of stuff you want to look for, but for now, Viserys, do you want to do anything during this time?
Get a potion of healing, at least. And class is pretty decent. Okay. I can't think of anything at this exact moment. And before we leave, after we leave the war room.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Captain Alephus, look here through the eyes of your raven perched on its shoulder. We discussed that the length limit doesn't really matter to you anymore because of your connection with the raven. So you're able to just watch it through the entire way up to the war room. Um, and you watch as Captain Alephus enters enters a enters through the castle and makes his way to a small room. It's not huge. But there's a in the center uh is a large long table at which you could see three different figures. Uh, make a history check. It's just been a minute, so
yeah, not
okay.
not great at
It's
those.
a little hard to recognize two of them. One you immediately recognize for his long. I'll actually give you right now visuals. Forgive me if it's a little bit laggy using dynamic lighting, which is always just a bitch. But in this you find yourself in this find Alephus in this dimly lit room. Three three fireplaces kind of light this room on either side, but even so, the size of the room, though relatively small, is still doesn't make enough lighting to fill the entire room. You find
Oh,
two tables set. You find three figures at the table. Two of them you don't recognize, even though you can see the name tags. One of them you immediately recognize for his massive body, his massive yet dark, his massive body, his darkened skin, his lion mane that he wears like a hood over his head, and seething red eye and crack and what seems to be also similarly seething red cracks along his skin, seeming bridled with rage, humming to life in his body, almost like a heartbeat. You see one uh, uh, you see one Strategos Heracles. Strategos being general. And as he and though you don't recognize the other two in the room, they are immediately addressed by Captain Alephus as um as strat as sorry Hippolytagos uh Ericthonius, and I did not find out how to pronounce this name. Ployarca, Ployarchus,
It's
right?
Plearchus. Plearchus again.
Clearcoat.
It's the yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm saying all of these right, correct? I tried figuring out the pronunciation of all of
Yeah,
these.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you see Strategos Heracles, Hippolytagos, shit. Hippolytagos
Yeah, that
Eric,
one we wrote exactly easy.
yeah, Hippolytagos Eric, Ericthonius, and also Plearon Triton. I think I butchered that. We're moving on. uh, yeah, he addresses them all in the room, and they all seem to be, they're all rather uh, surprised about his sudden promotion uh, to uh, Loteg Lotagus Alephus, but he takes a seat at the table. He takes a seat at the table, and the rest of the people there, Eric Thonius, who has just been addressed as just Eric, for purposes, says that we're just waiting on just a few other people, and it takes about just a few minutes, before you see three more figures. Three figures that I have vision. Let me clarify. Three characters I have visuals for, and then three more characters. You see these three. One of them you would recognize as as very almost exactly alike to the one you saw on the ship is another Hephaestus automata, who seems to be representing Counselor Hephaestus in this, as Triton is representing Poseidon, and Eric is representing Athena. Even which is weird, even though she said she wasn't going to join. But the automata kind of stands. He doesn't really take a seat. He just stands there at in the corner of the table. And on top of that is is Lutagos Odysseus, who takes a right about there. And Lagiris takes a, and he is representing I believe Counselor Ares in this meeting. And there are quite a few people that show up. These are just some of the visuals. I'll provide visuals at some point for all of them, but there are individual representatives for all of the counselors that have been said to be joining this search, alongside other captains. Three of which you know as being a member of Four Winds, which Captain Lotagos Zephyrus was a part of before his unfortunate passing. They all seem to represent the four different winds, and Zephyrus, though his unfortunate end, his brothers Boreas, Urius, and Notus are all are all present at this meeting. They seem to be joining the search as well. They all come to. They all seem to meet up and have. You see that the map in front of you is actually projected by Eric, who is kind of casting a major image, and gives almost like a holographic projection of a 3D model of Cerdonia. And though not on the map, you can still see where the blue markers are. But the only thing that is actually visible on the map to them is the red markers that kind of just ping up in different locations. They all seem to Eric seems to basically give uh the pretty much vague description of current events, that it has been discovered that there is not one but 50 different Trojan sites, and they have all been discovered all across this map, from a single location in a ritual site. Um, and uh, they have the map here, and it is their job to assign um, everybody to search for all of these items. Um, you see, Captain Alephus immediately decides, hey, there's a lot of them down in the southern Silva continent. Maybe I should go and start with the islands most south of Silva, and then make my way slowly, claiming the territory of Silva itself. Initially, everybody's very hesitant because that's a lot. There's a lot of Trojan sites, and especially to sanction to just one person. They initially say, "Yeah, it's fine. Go for the islands, but we can totally have other people assigned to other places." Um, but everybody notices some. Um, everybody seems to notice a small thing. The There's a one ping north of which they're a little bit concerned about a lot of things. One, they seem interested. Specifically, Heracles seems interested in the northernmost ping of Zav, the northernmost ping in the continent of Zav, and he seems to claim that to be the capital of Uruk, which is a part of, and he seems to claim that to be part of what is called the Mesoean Empire. And everybody seems confused. Why do they know about the Trojan? Have they been hiding it from us? We've been very adamant about looking for the Trojan, and they had it underneath of their city. The council seems to go into confused uproar. Then they also look to Milaverta. 6 different Trojan sites in that small body of the Merchants Guild. They've been holding on to they've been holding on to this for so long. Why? We've been searching for it. The Merchants Guild is in charge of selling and distribution of trade. Why would someone, Joaquin, as they call somebody, apparent who seems to be the head of the Merchants Guild, from what you can tell from the context clues, why is she holding this information back? Some there's more. It almost seems obvious to them. The continent of Silva seems to be desolate and doesn't seem to have, and you're not entirely sure why everybody seems to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. No wonder there's a bunch of no wonder nobody's found a Trojan in Silva. Nor they're also not as confused that there are Trojan sites in the continent of Baitor. And everybody's a little weary about the western markings. it kind of makes sense. Nobody's really been to the west out of fear of the Abyssalus horde. Nobody's been able to make it there and get out alive. So, so you kind of see the council kind of just like collectively agree we'll deal with the west, not the west, the east later. We'll just deal with the west right now. But yeah, you see them all seem to claim different locations. You see Heracles seems to uh, Heracles initially wants to take on the uh take on Uruk, but then you see the representative of Zeus claim the territory, and because this representative is of higher authority to that of Heracles, Zeus gets Zeus gets the Zeus is going after the Trojan and Uruk. He then decides, you know what? There's I'll you know what? I'll challenge Milaverta. So Heracles claims the continent of Milaverta. Captain Alephus manages to get claim of both that one island at the bottom and also the strange shape of Trojans that have been formed, which they don't really seem to really care about. It's there. It's in a weird hemicircle shape. It's fine. Um, it's still there. It's still a bunch of Trojans all in one place. Why not? So Alephus gets claim to that small island and the little frown. And then everybody else kind of gets their own pickings. Triton seems to take interest in closest to the one closest to Ilios, which seems to also be located along the shoreline, as that it seems to be what is known as the Kingdom of Midas, as it is worded. Everybody else takes their own pickings. It seems that Hephaestus is also going to take advantage of their partnership with Muspelheim to try to fetch the Trojans within Bator. But aside from that, not a lot of information. If you want specifics on who is assigned to what, I can definitely provide that information. But yeah, it's a pretty decently long meeting, and at some point, you do feel yourself getting picked up and like guided as as everybody is then escorted by the automaton to the meeting. It's to meet Hephaestus. But yeah, that is the gist of the war room meeting. Do you have any questions involving that? Sorry, that was a lot of exposition. If you want me to write it all down, I can totally do that.
Yes, please do.
Okay, I'll
It's
write
not
that
here
down in my
for
own.
war meeting,
Uh,
so
uh,
please do.
I put
Someone
a lot of
higher
effort
than
in.
Hercules. Geez, Hercules is one of the scarier ones. I think someone was higher up.
But yeah, John, do you have any questions involved with events that transpire in the war room?
No. I think I'm
Okay.
clear on.
So after the war room concedes, Alephus stands up, and it is at this point when you teleport your raven out of the war room and back into onto the shoulder of your own self, finding yourself not too far away from the forge of Hephaestus. With that,
Still holding your hand.
sorry.
Sold in his hand. I didn't realize the raven came back.
All right. With that, you all make your way forward. You all make your way to the forge of Hephaestus, which is right about. I can't actually. I'm trying to use one finger. It doesn't work. You all find yourself right up now. This entire little clump of buildings right there, all one building, which is the Forge of Destiny. You
Oh,
walk in, and
Jesus.
you walk in, and the second the doors open, ringing sounds are in like unison, almost in repetitive, almost like music. Seems to ring out of the doorway, and you slowly begin to realize it's the sound of a hammer clamming onto metal or an anvil as you enter the forge. There's a waft of heat. Akamero and Arya kind of don't really notice it a lot, but Ceres and Lokir, you are just struck with this waft of heat that kind of just burns around you. You almost begin sweating like the minute you step in there. And as you do, you standing quite tall in the room is Hephaestus, Forge of Ithaca. You see him clamoring away at some kind of massive fucking sword that he's just banging on over and over again. Let's say the blade of which, instead of a lightning bolt, kind of just, it's weird. It's like any normal like swordsmith would look at it in horror at the sheer unusability of itself, but Hephaestus looks proud and it seems focused, and he seems like this lightning bolt etch is intentional, maybe used for somebody. But
Oh
as
no.
you step in, he kind of looks up. He looks up from his work and he says, "Ah, the congregators of such knowledge. Do you know what?
Good to
Have
be
you
in the
been?
presence.
Sorry.
It is good to be in your presence there.
Indeed,
Great
it is,
Hephaestus.
and so too you. Now, I have been instructed by the council to reward you for your efforts in finding all of these locations for the Trojans. A boon, perhaps. This boon is in the form of magical weapons to infuse you with greater strength on the battlefield as you continue to search for the Trojan. So, with that in mind, what are you all looking for when it comes to this? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What brings you great power on the battlefield? Strength,
Flatter
Arcana,
me.
Bloodlust, as he looks as he looks at Arya with like a looking up at you like.
Oh yeah, I am
uh-huh.
smiling. Like, things are kind of out, those demonic vampiric feints. Like, oh yes, I do enjoy the glory of the hunts. I must say, these weapons have served me well, as unholster the hammer and summon the bloodied scimitar.
You
Preferably
feel them,
weapons such
you
as
feel them
these.
carry. As soon as you pull them both out, you see Hephaestus kind of do a movement with his hand, and you just feel the weapons pulled out of your hands as they are lifted, as they begin hovering in front of him. As he begins to have them do a little spin, examining the weapons themselves.
Hammer.
What do they both look like?
The scimitar, it's almost charcoal black, but with flecks of like red, scarlet, ruby, like blood material within them. And the hilt almost looks unusable because it's spiky on the hilt. Because when she summons it, it kind of sticks in her arm. And she uses her offhand weapon, so the Eldritch Knights, they can't really be disarmed of their weapons unless they let go of it themselves. So the sword really does not come out unless she wills it out.
Okay.
Hammer, the warhammer she uses, it's quite weird, where it has a frame. It's almost like a demonic snow globe, where the head of it, the middle part, looks like there's a bloody smiling face that surfaces every once in a while.
Huh. He kind of looks at the hammer, kind of gives like a, and he kind of like pushes that aside, and he takes interest in your scimitar. He says, "I've tell me
It's
something. Have you
infused
heard
with
of the
blood
blade?
magic.
Have you heard of the blade Craven Edge?
Would I?
No.
In proficient in Arcanum. Oh no, gotcha.
No rule
No, I
necessary.
have
Of course
not.
Of course you wouldn't.
I have
That's
not
from.
heard of it.
Of course you wouldn't. That's from another time. um. Well, it was a weapon that had sort of a leeching effect on it. The blade would draw blood and in return blood to itself, enlarging it, bolstering it with power. But it had sentience. It had a bloodthirst. If not used
No.
properly, or as often enough, the blade would consume its wielder. We don't want that. So,
Of course.
perhaps some form of leeching effect on a valiant weapon that allows you to dish out damage, and then that damage brings vitality. Very similar to your blood sucking event effect, whatever that's called.
Yes.
I can do something like that. And he takes it and he almost like flicks the the underneath of the blade, and you see it shoot down towards you, and sheath itself. And I mean, do you have like a sheath, or does it just reappear? Does it not have like a sheath, or
The
does it just
scimitar is a summonal thing that
okay?
she uses.
You see it flick towards you, and in a second, it shoots into your chest, but you almost get engulfed. It almost gets engulfed in your chest as it just fizzles into blood and soaks into your skin. Now, that looks fiendish enough. I'm not dealing with that. as he as he looks
Sounds
to
like
the
something to
hammer
do.
and then just passes it back down to you. So, a weapon a leeching weapon, a leeching blade that will give you vitality from damage. Very interesting. With that in mind, who would like to go next?
Can I just ask, is that lightning bolt blade there? Does that do what I think it does?
He picks it up. What do you think it does?
Does that? Do you throw that? Is
Not entirely. As he steps around the anvil, you realize something. He doesn't have the lower legs. He does from his He has his calves, but he steps out, and you can hear mechanical whirring and clicking, and you realize that the lower half of both of his legs are just like steampunk robotic implants, as they just clamor on the around as he says, "This is a gift specifically for Zeus." As he runs his hand across the blade, lightning begins to crackle all around it before he shoots up. He takes a swing mid-air above you, and you just see an arc of lightning and just race across the room, almost tearing through the metal that makes up the building infrastructure, and just leaves severe burn marks in the metal.
Oh.
that is incredible. Thank you so much for that.
I call this the
A
lightning
brilliant
caster,
demonstration
but
indeed.
not as I call this the lightning caster. It's not as powerful and probably needs a better name, but I'm working on it. As he sets it on a little holster. Special gift for Counselor Zeus himself. as he will be venturing to the Mezzoian Empire of Uru. So, with that in mind, would you like to go next?
I would be delighted.
Very good. You are a spellcaster, no?
Yes, I am.
Where does your arcane lie? Where does your focus come from? It's essentially asking for like both your spellcasting ability and for your arcane focus.
Okay. So I will produce my focus from the strap I keep on my back or around my back, and um,
What does your focus look like?
it's like a bright red, color's not the right word, but it's like a bright red ruby that's been shaped into a like eight-faced diamond shape with like a silver overlay around the middle.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah. And as for where my abilities come from, they lie deep in my studies of the arcane.
Hmm. It's funny. I remember a time where that would have been the life force, as he similarly pulls the ruby out of your hand and begins lifting it up. There was a time where dragons were so well known. Some have gone completely extinct, such as ruby dragons. Oh, those things were very powerful and possessed quite the radiant firepower. Does radiance intrigue you at all?
Quite does.
There are various different options. So many possibilities that race through my mind. Why don't you let me keep this and I'll get back to you on that.
Right then.
As he clutches it from midair and sets it on the anvil. Which, by the way, the anvil itself, fucking massive. It's taking up the room. To put into perspective, it's similar comparison to his size. He is standing 20 feet tall in the room. And the anvil itself is proportioned to a normal height if he were the size of a normal man. So it's probably standing about like 10, 15 feet tall, lifted up on a mounted platform. But yeah,
Sounds like
he sets it on the gem. He sets the gem on the anvil, and he says, probably have something to do with the ruby dragons. My honest opinion, don't know if I'm able to do it or not. Rubies might be able to produce this ruby, with a little bit of work, could possibly produce a spirit dragon, if you are familiar with it.
Ooh.
But that might not be to my capabilities. I may be a counselor, an archaic captain, but I am still human, unfortunately. Wink. He says, all right, well, 1.5, 2 more to go. And he gestures to both, and he gestures openly to Lokir and Viserys.
I'd rather go
Oh.
last, since I imagine I'm going to be more difficult to find something
How
for you
so?
to give. Not exactly a fight.
You don't fight, you say?
Oh no, I do, but not with traditional means. My power isn't exactly my. Unless you can enhance a raven, but I doubt that.
Huh. So you have. Hmm. You say you gain powers from a raven?
Uh, sort of.
Hmm. All right then. Keep your secrets. Well, if you don't really have any capable means of allowing me to grant you a boon for attack, perhaps a defense might be more to your liking?
Yes, if you have something for that.
Well, why don't we fit with the little theme of ravens you have? A shawl, a cloak, imbued with raven feathers. The raven kind of just like looks to you, just like, what? The fuck? and but he continues as he says, a mantle of raven feathers, with the sole purpose to provide extra defense, almost a sentience to the cloak as it moves around you to shield you from incoming attacks. Possibly more if I put my mind to it.
That sounds useful.
Very well. I don't have that on me like I don't the rest of the group, but give me a day. I can see what I can do. Right. Next up, last but not least, the Hippolytegos.
Yeah. And he grips the hand axe on his right side and pulls it out. Sylvia, motioning with the hand axe, was a gift, and from a very dear father figure of mine. And while she does look a bit plain and unassuming, she's got me out of a tough spot uh, more than once.
It's pulled out of your hands, hovering in his hand, hovering just above his fingertips as he takes a look. Oh, spin. Tell me, how proficient are you in pole arms?
I can stick somebody with pointy end. That's what you're asking.
A pointy end, or rather, a very long end. As he kind of, you see him snap his fingers, and a little astral projection appears on the axe itself, and it seems to extend the hilt of the axe. And you realize it's taken the small minor illusion that he is casting, projecting holographic, seemingly to cast a holographic projection, seems to increase the form of the axe itself into a halberd. There's more I can do with that, but if you want it to remain a small, nimble, throwable, as he does so, he kind of like flicks it and he goes spinning in like a boomerang around the room. I could probably do something either way, but if you want it to be a halberd or hand axe, it's up to you.
She does seem to always come back to me. So, yeah, little bit of a southern boomerang action. I think I can work with that.
Do you want it in halberd form or hand axe form? Because with hand axe and halberd, your throwing boomerang action might be a little bit different between the two.
I'm sorry. So just for my edification, so hand axe, it won't come back, or if
Hand axe, it'll act like
you
a
said
boomerang. You just throw it, it goes spinning and cling, and then it'll like a boomerang, and it'll come back to you. the halberd, the way he words it, it's going to be a little bit different from that, as you have to put into perspective the different
like a long
proportions.
axe.
But but from what he implies, the halberd will do a lot wider attacks. Maybe not so much longer range, but he'll definitely do. He's basically asking if you want it to remain nimble and small, or if you want to be able to have wide sweeping attacks with the halberd.
No, Sylvia's she's a nimble minx. I would very much like to have that returning to me.
Very well, hand axe it is. I'll begin enchanting this. You should have it by morning. Well, as he guides the hand axe to sit beside the ruby on the anvil. Well, I believe that's everything that I believe that is everything. As per the instructions, 1 boon per person.
Boon.
But I can
Only
still,
one of my weapons will get a boon, correct?
one of your weapons.
Because I'm a
will-
two-handed fighter.
One of
I'm a
your
dual
weapons.
wielder.
He's implying that you're getting an entirely new weapon. Won't be one that you summon from your sword, but it will be one that that has some sort of involvement with leeching from your enemies. So
Gotcha.
you'll still have your hammer, and you'll still be able to summon your blade, but now you're getting another blade, which is which is you could decide whether or not it's like what kind of sword it comes with, what sort of sword or axe form it comes in. But you'll also have a second weapon alongside your hammer that you're able to use.
Because I'm able to bond with any weapon, and it becomes my Eldritch Knight summon. I just pick up a blade, do an hour ritual, and it becomes the new blood weapon, essentially.
So with that in mind, if you give him your blade, then he can just give the upgrade to the blade you already linked to.
I mean, right now I use a scimitar, and she's thinking right now if the scimitar was longer, a longsword would be easier. Just she's
Longsword
never
would
going to
give the
use it
option-
two-handed.
Longsword would give the option of one or two-handed combat, which deals more damage, depending. So you can either. So
She
it's
is
like
a dual wielder, so it'll be two
It's a
more.
versatile. So yeah, it's a versatile weapon that allows you to either use both your hammer or your sword, or if you don't have your hammer on you, you can just hit with the sword.
I just want that 2 extra damage, honestly, so a longsword would be preferable. She'll just use her own blood magic to make it look the same and just longer.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
All right. So.
Though her hammer is clearly not going to upgrade, though, unfortunately.
All right. So to clarify, Arya is getting a long sword with the leeching blade effect. Akamero, he'll probably be doing something with the ruby. Viserys, he'll be doing something to. Was it Lila?
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Sorry. He'll be doing something with Sylvia.
Oh,
Probably
your weapon has a name too? Nice.
Probably like a throwing and recalling axe, kind of like the Bifrost axe from Kratos, from God of War. Why did I say Kratos? Look here, you'll get like a cloak effect, a cloak of raven feathers that'll bolster your defense.
Nice.
Okay.
I name my weapons too.
With that,
Tell you them later.
Hephaestus returns to his anvil and kind of rests on it like a counter table, and he says, "All right, well, I will get onto these swiftly. I have a lot of commissions, as there's a lot of war planning going on, and a lot of people that need new weapons for the tasks at hand, but I will get them to you as soon as possible. I believe that is all of our business here, but if you would like to purchase some weapons, that can also be an option." but they do come at a high cost.
Do you have any? Do you have anything in the way of special arrows?
Special arrows. I could give you arrows with ailment tips.
Hmm.
Essentially, they'll just deal
Poison.
poison, lightning, acid, fire, depending on which arrow you purchase.
Hmm.
I think I can do force, maybe radiant.
Yeah.
Those are.
Can I get a six-pack
Six-pack
of different mix and match?
Six-pack of different match. That'll be 10 gold per arrow. That'll be 60 gold.
Fantastic.
Prices might increase or decrease depending on the ailment in which you wish for each arrow.
Okay.
Yeah. One of each. One fire, one, it's like a Hawkeye type of situation where in the quiver it's got got a different effect on each arrow.
The radiant will cost an extra 5, so that'll instead be 65 gold. And you want
And just
five,
do you have
you want fire, acid, lightning, radiant, poison, and then one more.
sure.
I can do a
Yeah.
force arrow.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And just before I make this purchase, how much is a healing potion? If I were to buy that after this.
Let me check.
A normal healing potion is usually 50 gold.
So yeah,
Sorry.
since we're using
Off.
those rules, it'll just be 50 gold.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll forego the healing potion. Yeah, let me get the 6-pack of arrows.
You can add each arrow to your inventory. Radiant, fire,
Okay.
acid, lightning, poison, and force.
Okay.
As he kind of gives them all to you in a smaller quiver, with with like a divider to split up the different ailments.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's it for me.
Okay. Anybody else wants you to spend some gold on something?
Could I possibly reinforce my cloak here?
Your cloak.
Mhm.
Sure. Let me see. As he
Alright.
offers a hand. He says,
Yeah.
"Well, I can do a standard +1, +2. It'll be 50 gold per enchantment. If that's something you would
Alright.
like."
I think I can do a double there.
Okay. So you would like a +2 enchantment to this cloak?
Yes.
Okay. That's a very simple thing I can do right now. And he grabs something, like kind of like diffs through a shelf, through a through a shelf, and he pulls out something, and you're not entirely sure what it is until he kind of like shakes it a bit, and there's like a little nozzle that he points at the cape. A fucking blowtorch gets launched onto this onto this fucking cloak, and it just sits there in like a 10-second flit, just engulfed in flames for like a solid 10 seconds before. There you are. Yeah,
Nice
and he reaches down to
roasty.
hand you the cloak itself. Perfectly fine. Nothing really. Doesn't even look like it's been burned. There's a
Can people
now
stand-
shimmering glow that seems to be emanating from it.
Can I stand in that? Is that a thing I can do?
Stand in what?
That torch.
Oh, only works on inanimate objects. You will actually burn if you are if you are organic.
So it's not a no.
You won't get the armaments. You will just I mean, yes, you could stand in the fire, but it won't do you any good.
All right then.
Who's next?
I mean, I got one nice magic weapon. What it is, the sword. Anything in Warhammers you might have?
Give me 1 second on that. He first asked, like, how much are you willing to pay for a warhammer?
I mean, currently, what's on me is 260 in gold.
260.
So, everywhere around there. Just need a hammer that's already magic that I can infuse it with my own. Some of those. There are abominations out there that just don't like any hit by hammers. Or weapons that aren't just magical to begin with.
Hmm. Tell you what. For 250, you see lifted aloft, held aloft is a bronze warhammer with the head of which is that of a dragon's head. Uh, fully
Ooh.
fully sculpted in bronze, as he says, a stirring dragon's wrath warhammer. 250.
Anything for a nice hammer? Got yourself a
Uh,
deal there.
as it comes down to you, as he says, that'll be 250. And all right, so you can add which is on the 5e tools. It won't be on Roll20, I don't think. The Stirring Dragon's Wrath Warhammer, and you can decide what type of dragon breath damage it deals. It's up to you.
Gotcha.
With that, anybody else? All right. If nobody else wants to purchase anything, uh, he bids you farewell. Tells you to come back to him in the morning for your items, and uh, and yeah, you all leave the forge. So
So
with
the
that in
hammer will
mind,
come tomorrow with the longsword, right?
yes, he doesn't take the long sword. He doesn't take your scimitar. He will give you a completely new longsword in which you will be able to attune to.
Gotcha.
All right. So with that, where to next? Does everybody just want to go back to the windbreaker?
It's 250 gold, yes?
Yes.
Gotcha. Subtract that. And there's my account. Oh, that's such a lovely number to have left over.
Also, yeah, you would be able to find just for the sake of you already only having 10 gold left, I will say it's like 2 gold per 5 vial casing of blood.
Gotcha. Per vial. Full.
I'll get to your to uh I'll get to everybody else what they're purchasing at a. You're just getting parchments and rations.
Yeah.
I believe it's only 1 gold per day's worth of rations, and then you could probably get a set of like 10 pages for maybe a gold as well.
All right.
So you all can decide how many of those you purchase. But yeah, does everybody just want to go back to the windbreaker?
Oh
Does everybody-
yes.
Or do you want to return back to your original fleet?
Probably which one? I guess that's a group decision.
I'm going to fetch my turtle
Okay.
and get it
Let's
closer to.
You guys are all
our
like the fleet. Your fleet and Viser and the windbreaker are all on the same dock. It's just like the windbreaker is just a little bit like it's at the top of the dock your fleet is currently docked in. So, but yeah, you can easily go and fetch Domus. Do you take him to the windbreaker, or are you all just staying at your own fleet?
I would be more comfortable
Why not
staying
be on
our
the
fleet
turtle?
for the moment.
Yes.
I heard a bunch of
Stay in
voices
our
at once.
Well, look here, if you and Domus would have us, I would love to stay on the turtle.
It's a private turtle. Why not?
Since you're being respectful, I will gladly have you, Dom. Unlike last
Very
time,
nice.
where you demanded to be on Domus.
I mean, it's such a eye-catching creature, so why not?
Last I checked, you wanted to kill it, but.
I didn't say it. I said everything in the ocean. It's a land tortoise that's somehow adapted to water, so it does not belong in the ocean, but is adapted. Therefore, it's amended from the kill all things in the ocean list.
Sure, I'll accept.
Okay, so you all go to Domus's to Domus. Do you all then go to the windbreaker, or are you all just staying at the fleet? Or are you just staying where you are? By the way, there you are. Little Domus. Well, I say little, but very big. You all
I
can
mean,
place
he was
yourselves on
once
the map.
very little. They grew up
Little
so fast.
tortoise, and then he was a very big tortoise.
Clifford, the big normal tortoise.
Yes.
Clifford, the mobile horizon.
Okay. So we're. So is everybody clear on the plan?
Did you guys
Of,
learn in
how
the
this
war
is-
room?
So I think there was quite possibly no worse places for you to put the Trojans on. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you chose a capital and a guild of merchants, and I'm surprised you didn't place one in a fucking orphanage. Which I mean, it's a plus.
At that point,
Um,
you hear a furious.
I don't remember you asking permission to board Domus.
This is Captain Alephus. Please open the door. I could not get your
I'll-
attention from outside because you were on a fucking tortoise.
I'll think about it, and then I'll go and open the door.
I need to talk to you, please. It's not really talking. I just need to. Oh,
Fine, you may
This-
enter.
Is this a group discussion or more of your arguments?
he opens the door. He looks pissed. He opens the door, and he scans the room, and he's like, "So can somebody tell me who made the map?
Oh yeah.
We're already
fuck.
discussing that.
I
I'm
was
gonna
so
rat
caught up in
him
the
out.
cool stuff we got, I entirely forgot that I apparently made a vital mistake. Please tell me what I did wrong.
A vital mistake. A vital. Do you know what
That's
you?
a-
Ugh.
I clearly
Tell me,
don't know what I've done.
When you decide to randomly draw a bunch of dots, a frowny face on the map,
Okay, listen.
but no, the frowny face is the least of our problems.
Oh
Did
no!
you look at?
He did.
Did you even think about where you placed these markings on the map?
I thought I did. I clearly didn't.
Brother,
So-
that's an intelligence flaw. What are you doing?
I read books about magic, not about maps. I
Would have thought of at least the most sketchiest places on the world.
the
You had
fact the fact that we weren't vaporized the second I handed the map over is truly about the best we could ask for.
No,
That is
but
true.
That's not the problem. The problem isn't that you were suspected of that there was a possibility, a slight possibility that you have been
There
that
was.
you were discovered to be full of shit. The problem is that
Yeah.
that's not the problem. The problem is where you told them there were Trojans.
I mean, it's just war, right? We've been to war so many times. What's another innocent
What
city
do you
getting
know
fucking
about the
demolished?
capital of Uruk? The Mesoai
What?
Empire. What do you know about that?
History check. Let's
Sure,
roll
go
some
ahead.
history. What do we possibly
What do you know?
I'm not even gonna roll. I really don't know anything.
Well,
Well,
that's a positive.
it's an empire. Think you kind of remember something about dragons.
Oh, yeah, I immediately go, oh. That's good
No,
I bought that
that's not
hammer
the-
then.
What do you know? Did you know anything about the capital before you put a Trojan site in the center of it?
To be fair, I didn't know I know he made the map. I didn't see what locations. I put faith in my brother, but it was clearly misput, obviously.
What about Milaverta?
But
What about
what do we know
the
about
continent of Baitor? What
I
about
just roll a
Jotunheim
general
and
history
Niflheim? Ugh.
I mean, a lot of those places are full of powerful beings, especially the first one you said.
But that's not the.
If you
pro-
think
the
about it, they
problem.
can't touch a land of dragons.
No, the
against
problem
them.
is they can now. The problem is that this entire war has been done so perfect because this conflict is all based on human belief. They are bending they are essentially indoctrinating all of these people for the last 30 years to give them a reason to fight the Ilios and the Aenis. This whole conflict started when the council assassinated the original council of Ilios, which started the war with Aenis when they blamed the council of Aenis, which was them fucking selves.
Yes, it was quite twisted.
They
I
started
was
this
there
war.
for that.
They started this war because they were able to convince the people that was a reasonable conflict to happen. They've been able to assassinate factions because without any care, without any worry, because they've been able to convince the people that is just a conflict of war. They were able to assassinate Torm. They were able to assassinate all of these neighboring factions because they were able to convince the people that was just, that was right. Now, you have placed a Trojan site in the middle of the fucking capital of a neutral city counseled by a fucking council of ancient dragons from the stars.
Well, to be fair, two things.
The problem
One,
isn't the fact
Torm
that
wasn't
the problem isn't who's gonna win or lose. The problem is that you gave them a reason to go to war with this massive faction and possibly destroy it. Same with the Golden Hills. Same with the fucking Merchants Guild in Milaverta. Sure, they
Ooh,
might
yeah.
they might stand a threat, and it might be a a futile effort, but they're still going to have a reason to break this continent. Their whole goal is to break this continent and weaken it so that Eris can just strut in and take it over. And you just gave them a reason to continue doing that.
Ugh. You put it like that.
When I
yes.
put it like that, it sounds like you just murdered an entire empire, an entire continent, and you have doomed so many people. I will talk with the.
Huh,
I'm
you
going to talk about this with the
suddenly
syndicate,
have a
and we are going
conscience
to.
now.
I am going to talk about this with the syndicate. I am going straight to Hades, and we are going to discuss this. I am going to discuss this with Hades, with Pluto. But I want you to know that that whether or not we can, however well we are able to diminish this conflict, that blood that is going to be spilled, it's not on the fucking council. That is on your hands. Regardless of if they know you're full of shit or not, if that map is full of shit, they have now given the people a reason to fight alongside them and destroy an empire. Destroy destroy the Merchants Guild. Destroy the Mazoian Empire, which, by the way, is dealing with a whole other apocalyptic event. You have now given them a reason to interfere with that. And to break them. To destroy them. Regardless of who wins in this conflict between Ilios and the Mezoi, this continent is going to lose more valiant warriors. It's going to weaken even further. And Eris is going to only benefit from this conflict. Same with the Golden Hills, same with the Merchants Guild, same with the fucking zombie Ceramorphs that are all across Silva. Same with the continued conflict in Jotunheim and Niflheim, those two continents that are right underneath the abyssal territory.
Yes.
You mentioned a apocalypse.
Yes,
Dragon Empire's doing
they're
something?
doing this whole. There's a whole reason. There's a whole other thing about some grand threat that the fucking council, the Acadia, are prepping for, which is apparently another fucking dragon from the stars. But none of that matters now because they're going to focus all of their efforts into making sure they survive. They were a neutral empire. Nobody touched them because nobody cared. They weren't doing anything but their own self-interest. The only outstretches they were doing was simple trading. But now they're going to war.
Dragons are powerful races, though. These are ancient beings that can topple empires.
That's not the point. No matter who wins this conflict, more people
That's
are
your
going to
loss.
die, and this continent is going to weaken further.
Victory
Could band
requires
together.
sacrifice. Unfortunately.
That's not the point!
All right,
That
we're
is
not talking
not the
about
point.
sacrifice. No, all right, listen. All
The
right,
point is that you
I've got an idea.
What?
I'm gonna calm down for a second. Let's
Hard to be calm,
sit this
but
from two
sure.
sides. So, got the dragons. Get to them first. We can warn them in advance. Okay? Let them know an attack is coming.
And
We're
warn
gonna
all
fight in
these
camp.
people.
And
What are they
Another
going to do
group.
with this 1 day's worth of knowledge? We're probably going. Zeus is probably fucking Jupiter is probably on his way right now. Who knows? He's still probably rallying up his troops. Fucking Jupiter was assigned to that was assigned to that city.
They're
Jupiter, and the council
Jupiter.
knows what, and the council knows how important. The council knows everything that I have just said. They are taking full advantage of the locations of the Trojans you have given them.
all wrong, but yes.
What wrong? What is wrong?
Are-
Locations. They're not actual Trojans. They'll find nothing.
But they will. But now you have given them a reason to believe there is a Trojan underneath the capital of the Dragon Council of Acadia and the entire Mezoi Empire. You have given them a
Yes.
reason to go to
Okay.
war for the sole purpose of tearing that city to the ground to find nothing.
Yeah. But
Um,
realistically, they need all the arch-captains to take out even several ancient dragons. These
But
are
they're
powerful
sending their
beings.
strongest. Jupiter is the head of the council, the father of most of the council. And he's the one heading the charge to Mezoi.
If it's just him, he may barely win. But again, lives will be lost. Don't understand your
The
perspective too
windbreaker is
much.
called
Life
the
is
windbreaker
important.
for a reason.
Life is important at the end of the day, but don't share the same value or belief in it, unfortunately. I was raised in a much different environment where life was as easy as breathing. You can take it away just as easily. It's usable. So this is a new experience of emotion for me to deal with.
Viserys,
Anyway.
you
I
have an
see
idea?
the plan that Akamero
Moving
made.
on.
I don't see too many flaws other than sacrifice and loss. The problem is Eris.
Sacrifice and loss that will continue to only benefit Eris. This conflict does not matter. It only benefits Eris because it further weakens this continent. She doesn't need the Trojans to take over this continent. She just needs the Trojans to deal with everything in Cerdonia. But if she kills everything in Zov before she even needs the Trojan, then the Trojans don't matter. All that matters is her ascension and her consumption of Zov. If she
What would
burns
you
if
suggest?
she burns all that is powerful and strong, all of the strong points of Zov, then she'll just move into Eris and continue to search for the Trojans.
Would you
And once they
suggest
find
then?
out about the once they find out the Trojans not actually in Mezoi Empire, what next? How many
That's what
Trojan
I'm
sites do you think they'll continue to not find before they think, hey, maybe there's a little bit of bullshit in this?
I mean, to be fair, there's 50, and we said we found a religious site. So at the end of the day,
But
they
how
honestly,
many of these 50 sites that are going to end up being false? All of them are false. How many of them are they going to continue to dig up before they realize, maybe this map is not is a little bit full of shit?
I guess would probably be once they hit 10. Depends on how quick they are about this. I mean, with Hermes, he could probably find all those vaults no problem. But at the same time, with what we face, I even doubt that that would be possible.
We're going to have to split up. But
I mean,
divide
at the end
your
of the day,
forces and
we
conquer.
get the Trojan first. We can find them first. We can at least have a chance and find the vestiges to go with them. Life will be lost. It's an inevitability.
Not an inevitability. That's the point. That's what I'm furious about. The point is that the deaths of the Empire was not an inevitability. You, as he looks to Akamaro, could have put those locations anywhere. Could have thought about those locations when you just started dotting them across the entire map. But you put them in the capital of Uruk. You put 6 in the island of Milaverta. You put 3, only 3, in the barren sands of Baitor. 3 in the Ceramorph zombie virus infected lands of Silva. 3, maybe 6 total in the two continents that the Abyssal are already in conflict with, which are Jotunheim and Niflheim. But you put one specifically at the capital of Mezowai. Not in any of its cities, the capital. And then you put 6 on a single island that is entirely run by a merchant's guild. That's going to fuck up the entire trading system. That was your decision. And that blood, no matter how much is spilled, is going to be on your hands.
And who put me in this position?
Fortunately, our grandfather
Who-
did.
You could
No.
You could have asked any of us. You could have asked any of us. You could have done some research about the locations.
When I was able to contact you,
I didn't even
when I was
know
able to.
you were doing that. You didn't consult any of these syndicates about doing any of that, did you?
When was I supposed to do that? Right
When
after
we
y'all
all
disappeared, we had no
confronted you on
contact with you.
Polyphemus. When we were all there.
Did
You all
leave.
were very
Tell us that-
hostile. There
I
was
am
no
very
point.
hostile because there is so much chaos that is about to be spread across the continent.
You've
across
been
the
hostile the
world.
whole time. At no point could I have approached you to workshop ideas. Y'all
Presents a-
strong-armed us into this position and have not given us a moment of clarity.
until now, at least. But it will soon pass.
We told you to go and tell them you found nothing. But instead you told them that you found the sites of 50 Trojans.
If we found nothing, if we told them we found nothing and then moved on to new missions, they would immediately suspect something and put us to death.
No, if you
Killed us.
found nothing and then continued your search and still found nothing, you would have been on par with the same people continuing the search for the last 30 years. Why would you be so special enough to be put to death because you couldn't find it in a week's worth of searching when thousands of people have been searching for these Trojans for 30 years?
These are people under the radar. Me and
These are
Akamaro are
people in the
descendants.
council. These are people who are part of both the Ilios and the Aenis. You all are part of the Ilios and the Aenis. We trusted you with this because you had already been a part of the system. You were already in the system. You could be trusted. You two were children of Ares, for God's sakes.
Exactly. Raised
You
much
could have been
differently.
trusted. If you told them you found nothing, they would have believed you. Because it's not so difficult to believe that an island 2 miles off the coast of their own territory, or however far away it was, did not have the Trojan.
Mildly believable, but the gamble to even say we found nothing.
We're done here. I'm going to talk to Pluto and discuss what we do moving forward. I suggest you do the
Understood.
same.
Understood.
And he walks out.
Can I make a suggestion, or is everybody just gonna keep yelling at each other?
What is your suggestion? He turned to the door and he kind of just looks up. He's like, "What is your suggestion, Viserys?"
It's not hard. It's all on paper in front of you. You just gotta look at it the right way.
What is on?
Okay.
What am I looking at? I'm looking at the decimation of entire continents and empires. What are you looking at?
Take the windbreaker to the dragons. It's the fastest ship you're ever gonna sail on. It'll beat Jupiter there. Even if you give them a day, it's more than they would need. Another group goes and gets Trojans, brings them back to shows and tells them of a location that we gave them. It shows that they are actually out there and makes them believe that the map is not just bunk. And then lastly, another group has to stop an apocalypse. And then we get the merchants.
We're not dealing
So
with the apocalypse. That apocalypse has been told about for hundreds of years and hasn't happened. We're not dealing with that right now. We're dealing with the
Oh,
situation
then
right
if
now.
it doesn't
We will deal with the Trojans and warn the Mezoi Empire. Even if we even do that. But I will consult with Pluto about that. If you want to I will put in the suggestion that you all continue your advance of searching for the Trojans while I go to warn the Mezoi of the oncoming attack. But if we are seen in Jupiter doing the exact opposite in the exact opposite location of the map in which we were assigned to go, and we're in Mezoi, and they're all and surprise, surprise, they're prepared for the attack, that puts an even greater finger on us.
I mean,
They
why do we
spot
have to
us.
go? Why not send your death fucking demon thing to warn them? He appears to be pretty fucking fast.
What
Teleportation,
demons? You gotta be more
sophisticated.
specific.
He means
The one that killed Viserys' friends.
I believe you mean Thanatos.
Yeah.
Thanatos. Yeah,
Thanatos, the blade of
Yeah,
demons.
because they're gonna trust a skeletal paladin of death atop his Gloomstalker dragon. I will discuss who will be assigned to who with the Syndicate. If they don't kill me on the spot.
Can I
Sweet
send my
Pants over
raven
there,
with you so I can
Macaria.
see it if it happens?
How about Macaria? She can snap her little fingers and teleport you away.
Makari?
Who knows how much trust they have within themselves at this point.
God knows if they're even going to listen. But fuck it. I'll talk with Pluto about who is assigned to what. I suggest you all prepare for war. Cause it's a lot more gruesome. It's gonna be a lot more chaotic war than initially planned. You wanna take your raven with me? Go be my guest.
Great! I'll put the raven.
He gives a sigh and then turns back to the door and leaves.
That was just almost as bad as being in the room with Ares mouthing us off. We were bonded and whipped when we did something wrong. So a little less painful, but still.
Oh, my face is hot. I got mad and then I got actually. No, I'm kidding.
It's all good. That's great skills. We messed up, clearly.
I mean, the question is, why do they care? If anything, it buys us more time, because they'll have to go to an actual war to retrieve the fake Trojan.
That's my thing, is that I don't value lives like you guys do. Any life can be dispensable, so long as you use it properly. He sees lives with value. I see lives that can be used to have value.
I don't think
Does
they.
he?
I don't. They don't. They don't value lives intrinsically. They're talking about Zhao's ability to defend itself, the world's ability to defend itself from Eris.
Yes, the world's ability.
I think they're fucking hypocrites. They care about life when it suits them, but everyone
And
else is fucking
dragons-
disposable.
They're powerful. Honestly, even Jupiter being there, Jupiter Zeus, the most powerful thing heading there himself. I mean, depending if all the ancient dragons are there, it would probably at least take out 5 to 10. I don't know how many are there. I've only heard of the Empire and its stunning reputation of strength as dragons have. I'd say he can't take them all down. Dragons are powerful creatures. They outrival most arch-captains. Most, but not the ones like them. Still think he said it didn't matter who wins or loses, life will be lost. At the end of the day, totem pole without a head is merely just a pole. Therefore, matters not how many lives are lost when the foundation breaks. They can have to start over, essentially. So we'll just have to find a new, more incompetent leader to fill its shoes if Jupiter does fall.
I don't think there's a good outcome to the motions being
not.
set forward.
None of this is a good outcome, but we honestly knew what we were kind of getting ourselves into. It's our heads or someone else's. Personally, I value my head more than most others. But hey, popularity and save the world. There's more glory to be had from it. That's just on the upside, because right now there are a lot of downsides to this, of course.
All right then.
So hold on. I'm sorry. Let me do a little retconning here. The apocalypse that they were talking about with the Merchants Guild.
The apocalypse he was implying is like a kind of like a belief. It's sort of like
A prophecy
it's like
thing.
it's like their prophetic religion essentially.
So they're under constant fear of the apocalypse.
Son of Torm spoke highly of that.
And it's been a prophetic it's been a prophecy for fucking hundreds of years since they've been they've been there for 3 generations, which spans about 9 which would be about like 90 years. And they've been talking about this prophecy since the beginning. And that's what he was talking about. That they're already
also
dealing
failed.
with that, but now they're going to have to deal with the Ilios.
Yes. I mean, either you put aside your differences and take out the third party, or die to the third party. And one thing that Captain missed was Torm wasn't assassinated. He gave up his life, freely, of his own will. It's a disgrace to arch-captains, honestly, what he stood for. His kill was a tainted one for sure. Their arch-captains are under the thumb of Ilias and our forefathers, but it's one of probably who knows how many more. But I'm not sure even how many more are willing to give up his life like he did. Invading neutral space is practically a declaration of war on the entire world. Don't mess with the dragons unless you have allies. Sending one person, no matter how powerful, is still a foolhardy gamble. They're also sending soldiers, but still.
So, look here. From the eyes of this raven, as you've been isolated from this conversation that's, well, partially isolated, but you still are able to at least hear into you're able to hear the conversation, you're able to contribute to the conversation, all the while your raven is being taken away by Captain Elephas. You see him storm off to the windbreaker, from which he steps onto the deck, and you see Makari already a spell circle being cast in the center. You see him give a nod to Makari, and he steps into the circle, continuing his pace even as a flash of light rises from the spell circle, and he finds himself continuing to walk in this massive, dark cavern. Lights are barely visible as they seep through the cracks of earth. The sunlight shining in where the light is not, there are luminescent blue fungi that seem to dot all around the cavern. You see you are looking all around, and to the left you see this massive creature. It looks like it's a three-headed hound that is entirely made, looks like it's been singed and burned, flesh revealing all of its flesh, which is this crimson red. To the right you see the Gloomwalker Kiris that you've seen you are fully well known about. And directly in front of him as he's walking, on the other side of the room, you see three figures. To one side, you see Thanatos. The other side, you see a new figure, unknown to you. But in the middle, you see Pluto. And as he continues forward, you hear, as he continues forward in this massive cavern, which I actually have visuals for, you see him walk up to Pluto, and he says, "Sire, we have a situation." And that's where we're going to end the session off for tonight.
Oh, oh no.
Just to
I
clarify,
see our.
did you say that the dragon is a Gloomstalker?
I forget the actual name of it. It's
The Ranger
Gloom Wing.
subclass?
It's a gloom wing. Like a
Oh, okay.
Ugh.
I don't know. I forget
Okay, I
what
thought
the
you
actual.
I see our actions
I-
definitely had
Gloomstalker sounds
consequences.
familiar. I just
There's-
can't think of it off the top of my head right now. But yeah.
It's the Ranger
So-
subclass.
Oh
I
yeah. Okay.
that was
Never, no, it's not. It's not an actual. No, actually, you see it pull out a bow with its two front paws. And just, no, it is a.
I
It
do
is
know
a
the
gloam
Craven's
wing.
Edge. I'm
But
excited
yeah.
to get Craven's Edge. I did know that sword. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's not the exact Craven Edge, but still. Wouldn't like me anyway.
If y'all wanted to keep playing, I was actually about to excuse myself off
And
of
that is
Delmas.
exactly why I ended it,
and
because of
go
course I'm not gonna continue without you. That's exactly why I
That-
stopped the game.
Okay, very well.
It's fine.
So
We-
this
we-
is a big
we got
world
a point.
consequence. I've never
Yeah,
been in a world
it's
consequence
literally
scenario
a
like
consequence.
this.
I told you, Spencer. It was the
Called
consequences.
a three. How many prongs?
As I
genocide?
said in the chat, actions have consequences. What was the other thing? Choices have outcomes, and a single dot on a false map could topple an empire. As you have now
That was a hint.
As you have now put a target on one of the greatest empires in the of Zov. And I also want to point out something. With Jason, if you're good, if you need to head out, I completely understand. Thank you for joining us tonight. But I just want to show people, you all who are not on, who are, just bear with me for 1 second as I just show you a different version of the map.
A quick question. Did roll a bit of a positive on my history. Would I exactly know how many ancient dragons
You would
and
not.
are the ancient
You
dragons
barely
unified?
you barely
by
remember
color?
that there are. You barely remember that there are even dragons. But yeah,
Yeah.
there. But
Name's invoking though. Not good. You
But
get
yeah, there
advantage
are a
on
lot
your
of people-
history. You're a dragonborn.
Sorry.
I was talking to your dear dragonborn. You should get advantage on rolling draconic.
He's been born and raised in this he's been born and raised in Ilios. He has no idea about this. Well, unless he like specifically started researching about it, he wouldn't know anything about Mezouai, and because he didn't really explicitly say anything about it, tough luck. But yeah,
Makes sense.
I but
Yeah, let me kind of put in some that. Viserys knows about the history of the Dragonborn, and that Dragonborn are were originally made out as slaves to dragons, and
That
they were made to
no,
worship the dragons.
that
That's
was
Forgotten
that's
Realms
not
lore.
that's not. Where did you get
Yeah.
that in? Wait, did I tell you that?
Got a realms.
No,
Yeah.
not you specifically.
Because that's not
No,
that's not at all what that. I'll talk to you about that later, but no, that's not a thing.
Okay.
But yeah,
lizard folk are
so
more slaves then.
uh, but yeah, so that is the end of session 7 tonight. I originally named this Windbreaker on the Water up until you revealed all of the until you told me all of those little locations, and then I was thinking about naming this episode just "What have you done?" Just like because that's
What
literally just
have
the
we
gist
done?
of
Yeah.
the session. What have you done?
What have you done,
Regardless of if
comma,
you think
Akamaro, you
you are
bastard?
regardless of if you think you are justified in this situation, or if you think that the Asphodel, if the Syndicate is just a bunch of hypocrites, what have you done?
Yeah.
We were born and raised under grandfather war,
I don't know.
and we kind of
I fully messed up here. Like, I don't think the Asshole Syndicate's good guys, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
did
don't
him
think
bad.
you like he is fully aware. He does he is he understands that you all are like, oh yeah, the like in war, death is natural. In war, he's saying that this wasn't natural. This was this didn't need to happen. And now you've greatened their chances of being able to overtake, even if it's just Jupiter against the entire Akkadian Council. Somebody's gonna die. Somebody important is gonna die. And that didn't need to happen at all. Like even if you had he basically said even if you had targeted a small village in the Mesoite Empire, but you specifically targeted the capital because and you can definitely I think you can see it. There's like supposed to be a large like it's supposed to be larger than the capitals of each city are supposed to be larger than normal size, but yeah, you targeted specific and I saw that when I saw that red dot, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
I
I
mean,
was just sitting
to
there
be
like,
fair
"No,
though,
what have you
wouldn't it
done?"
make sense? Wouldn't it make sense for dragons to
You
hide
put
their
you put
treasure,
6
especially
on the
that kind?
you put 6 on Milaverta, man. What the fuck did that body of land do to you? Jesus. To put in to put
I
into perspective, the reason there's only one like Milaverta is the only thing on that island is because Milaverta encompasses the island. The entire thing is one big trade yard that that and Joaquin herself commands commands the trade of Cerdonia. She is in charge
which is
of making
bad.
neutral tradings between these combating factions. And if and now there are 6 different sites that are all I'll have to replay the footage to see who I assigned to that. I think I assigned Heracles to that entire to just to Milaverta himself. That is 6 different locations. Then not only is he going to burn the trade yard to try to find, but he's not gonna find it, and that's gonna get him pissed. 6 different locations all over the
Yeah,
place. But you have a
yeah,
chance
that's bad.
to say, oh, maybe he traded, maybe they did find it and they just traded off the Trojans.
I
But
mean, it
then
makes
that
sense.
leads
That
into
sounds like the
but
Thieves
then
Guild
that leads into
approach.
greater conflict because now if they do suspect that they traded the Trojans off, now they're going to suspect that everybody has a Trojan. Because there were 6 locations, and if all of them are missing, who knows how many Trojans are out there from their
Yeah,
perspective. From their perspective, when they find 6 empty locations from that are all centered around the trade of Cerdonia, they're going to assume that they were all shipped off. However many legions of Trojans were in those supposed 6 locations are now
That's
spread
pretty
across Cerdonia. So now they're gonna go
Mm.
searching for those everywhere, not just in Trojan sites.
So,
In hindsight, it's the Ilias and Aeon Empire considered like the most powerful thing in this world so far.
No,
Because at that point, they're just gonna get themselves destroyed.
they are. Well, no. The problem is that they are not the most powerful in Cerdonia, but they are definitely one of the main 3 in Zov: Ilios, Aenis, and Mezawai.
Picket fight with Mezwai was already bad enough.
Ew.
Yeah, we made a big oopsie. But hey, the world might just unite and just nuke.
Like
Just
the
nuke
majority of
Ilias.
like those other big territories in Zov are literally just tribal hunting grounds. Like they're literally just like a widespread, like the lower level, the large forests that make up the Blackblood territory. You guys can't see the map, but you probably know this. There's like a massive forest in the southern region of Zov. I don't know if you've seen it for the Blackbloods. That's literally just like a territory of maybe 200 lycanthropes. That's it, encompassing that entire area. Compared to the military of Ilios and Aeneas, phenomenal. They are going to get squashed. And then
Lycanthropes just get silver.
The
Yeah.
Golden Hills didn't even get discussed by him, but the Golden Hills is essentially where the Gnomish pantheon resides. And it's a small pantheon.
Gnomes
It's a
don't
small-
do nothing. Yeah, gnomes are the nicest creatures.
That's the
Even they're like
problem. That's just
chaotic
another
evil
thing.
guy. Yeah.
That's another thing that they just wipe off the surface of the map and just makes it even easier for Eris to just walk on.
Her resurrection is based off of.
Ugh. So yeah, that's
Would
Are
she
we
be
gonna collapse
resurrected?
the
I
I don't want to
suppose.
spoil. So yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but your actions have not only ramifications in your campaign, but other fucking groups are
Then others.
interacting with Mezawai right now. They're
Oh.
not at
Oh,
Mezawai,
no!
but they are interacting. Their backstories are melded within Mezawai. And you just put a fucking target on the back that is now going to be targeted by not only Ilias, but Aenis as well. Like, they're not going to worry about, like, the council is smart. They're not going to worry about, this is everything that I would have told you had you succeeded on those insight checks that I gave you with advantage when I asked you while you were putting those markers down.
I
But
got
you
a -1.
you got a -1, and you got a
Hey,
6 and a 12 in your rolls.
If it was a history check, I got like a +10.
But this
I
was
also have a
literally-
minus
but this
one.
Was, this wasn't really history
It's-
on the different locations. This was more insight on what are they going to what this was more insight on the council and what exactly they are going to do with this information you're providing. Like,
Yeah, no
if you
peaceful
had gotten a
negotiations,
if you
no
got-
asking.
If you had gotten a high enough insight check, you probably would have been able to deduce, yeah, if I give them this information wherever they go, whatever location I give them, they are going to burn to the ground to try to find. Because even if
That
they
makes
believe you or not,
sense.
because even if they believe you or not, they are going to use it as an advantage to not only destroy Zov, but to give the people of Ilios and Aenis a reason to do so. They've been banking
They're not
on
aligned though.
What do you mean they're not aligned?
Aeneas, the
No, but,
citizens
like,
of Aeneas
so
and
they're smart.
yes.
They're smart. They're not going to have both the Ilios and the Aenis attack one another to try to get one Trojan. They're gonna say, well, let's diverge the Ilios to one place, the Aenis to the other places, and just make it a coincidence that they didn't conflict with each other. Because there's a lot of locations, and they haven't really selected all of them. So they're going to send the locations that the Ilios have been sent to, the Aenis are going to attack every other place.
Jeez.
Basically, they're going to use the combined strength of the Ilios and the Aenis to go to every single location that you put on the Trojan, and the two factions are none the wiser. And on top of that, the Abyss, you wouldn't even know this, but the Abyss already have claimed territory of Jotunheim. So on top of that, they're going to, which is that big gray continent that was in the east. So they're going to tear that place apart. And then on top of that, Niflheim, the white continent at the very bottom of the bottom right of the map, they're also going to war with them. So that's going to even give them an even bigger reason to continue fighting. It's a lot. My head is racing. I was just sitting. This is everything that was going through my head when I was watching you place those markers. And then I was like, "Are you sure that's where you want to place them?" And you said yes. And then I specifically, I removed your privileges so you couldn't interact with the markers anymore. And then I sent you a GIF about how I was gonna burn the world. And all you had to tell me was react with a fucking dancing skeleton in front of fire, just flailing its arms.
But by the way,
no.
midstream when you checked our messages to see what I was purchasing, you pulled it up on your monitor in the corner on your stream, and that was amazing to see.
So yeah, that's all that I have to worry about right now. Group 3 is
not
about
a
to go
good
to Mezowai. Group 3 is about to go to Mezowai now in the next session tomorrow.
Oh
they are
no!
going to Mezowai tomorrow. Group 6 just left Mezowai. Oh.
Do they know? Do they know about what's going on over here?
No!
Or is it here comes Zeus with
No!
a steel
They
chair?
have no idea what's going on. Just like how you had no idea about this apocalyptic prophecy that was going on in Mezowai. Because that's their plot. Their plot is centered around the prophecy. Your plot was centered around this ongoing fight and Project Sidious, which is how I titled it, but it's not actually the canonical name. But now what you have done is you have inadvertently merged those two conflicts together. So now Mezowai is going to have to deal with your fucking conflict on top of the oncoming Tiamat from space.
That'd be pretty cool.
Amazing.
Tiamat versus Zeus.
I'm so happy to be alive. It's great.
Hey, Tiamat versus Zeus, though. I think people would pay to see that.
Versus Zeus, but the prophecy is centered around how Tiamat is coming to Earth.
Yeah.
As a fucking Dracolich, by the way. Just so you're aware.
I mean, if Zeus fights that thing, there really is. Oh, that's gonna. I don't think there's gonna be a conflict there.
But the Tiamat is coming to destroy Cerdonia. So it's a lose-lose situation. If the Tiamat wins, the world explodes, and if Zeus wins, the Tiamat and the Acadia are lost, and so is the rest of the Mezowai Empire. That giant vacuum is going to cause that giant vacuum of power is going to cause the exact same amount of chaos that was caused when Ilios first fell when the Council of Titanomachy fell. I butchered the fuck out of that. Titanomachy.
Yeah.
The same power vacuum that consumed Ilios before is going to happen to Mezowai, and Eris is going to take full fucking advantage of that.
How would she be resurrected? That was, I guess, my main question. Eris, because she's not on this side of the plane.
No, but she's on the other side of the ocean. She's not dead.
She's just chilling. Dormant.
She's chilling. Yeah. She's letting the world burn itself to the ground and she's just gonna walk across the ashes and claim it.
Oh. I mean, if Tiamat destroys the world, there's no foundation to claim. She's dead too.
Except for we inadvertently.
Yeah, we have inadvertently.
And in a different apocalypse, we don't have to worry about our apocalypse.
So
if the Tiamat were to destroy the planet at some point during Group 3 session, I would literally have to write that down and then at some random fucking point during everybody's session be like, as you're doing this, the world fucking explodes and you all die. Game over.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing right right now, we have inadvertently either destroyed the world or caused a massive debacle. Oh no, what have we done?
Yeah!
We just
Yeah! What have you done? Alright, my face is so hot right now. This is everything that has been going through my head the last, how long ago did you put the markers down? This has been going through my head for the
Oh.
last, 3 days. The last 3
no.
days. It's just everything
Hey,
that's
it's
going
not-
to go wrong with
it's
all of these
not-
decisions you've made.
It's not every day that a person can say, "Well, I destroyed an entire campaign
That's
basically
not a good thing.
single-handedly."
That's not a good thing at all.
But it's
That's not a
not.
good
But
thing
it's
at
a
all.
story, ain't it? It's still
It's a
impressive.
story,
It's
but
not
what
good,
good
but
is
it's
this-
impressive.
It's a story, but what good is the story if you're fucking dead?
I mean, that's just one multiverse out of another 10 trillion gone. I mean, that's so impressive to me. That's
Oh my
prime
God, my
storytelling.
My head is just spinning. All right. Yeah, that's the end of session 7 tonight. Thank you all for joining. And I
Yeah.
will see you if I do see you. If we do have another session, or you guys are all dead.
Oh yeah.
I will see you all on. I just put it down. The 25th of August. See you then.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
You
Depending
got
on
it.
if you still have a campaign. Depending on
We might. Does it depend on tomorrow or
No,
like
it
how soon
depends
do you
on- it-
plan on?
It honestly
Jupiter.
depends on everything that transpires moving forward.
Boy.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Can you,
Alright.
if that does happen, can we all show up? We do the what did we do last session? 5 minutes into the actual session, done.
Mhm. I mean, you guys can join the streams and just watch it all happen. I'll definitely let you guys know. Like,
Yeah.
hey, by the way, the ramifications of your actions are being presented in stream right now, and the fucking planet's
Okay.
exploding. Get ready.
I don't want to say you might have to write up something else soon, but I mean that's scary for a
I
demon to
have
come
put
up with a
too
whole nother
much
story.
commitment into this world for you to burn it to the ground because you inadvertently
we-
stopped the one defense against the Tiamat.
Yeah,
Don't make
we've
me do this.
inadvertently done
Don't
that.
make me do this.
Not many people can say that. Not many people can say that at
I
all.
have to make a whole
Yeah, I
new
destroyed an
campaign
entire
if this
world.
happens. I have to make a whole new campaign if this happens, Anthony. Anthony.
I don't want to say I don't like that, but
Ah!
it's still impressive. But it's demonical. It's demonically impressive.
Dude, literally,
What's going on right now?
Group 6 hasn't even started yet. Their first session is next week. What am I supposed to tell them 3 sessions in when their fucking planet explodes?
That's actually a great point.
Hey guys,
Ooh.
welcome to your first session.
Welcome to your first session. About halfway through the day, boom,
Oh,
rocks
no.
fall, everyone dies. Like,
You
I
should
think we're gonna have a
roll it
hit
over.
list on us.
it is the most
I think-
extreme version of rocks fall, everyone dies.
Yeah.
Except for there's
Yes.
an actual reason for the rocks falling. And it's entirely your
Yeah.
fault.
Yes, I think general chat will chew us out and never. They're gonna destroy us. I don't think they'll even spit us out. There's gonna be nothing left of us when all the other guys hear of this. Oh no.
You ever
Oh my
piss off the
God. Oh
DM
my
so
God.
bad they
Oh
kill
my
6
God.
campaigns?
Yeah. You are
I
the
don't think
result
it
of the
will be pissed
destruction
off
of
the
6
DM.
campaigns.
I think the campaigns will be more pissed off at us than I think the DM was.
I'm more pissed off
I
now.
don't think
No, you don't realize they made a single character. They made a single backstory. I put everything, all of my effort into this world, spending countless hours on the lore that you are surrounded by. If you fucking destroy this
And it's
planet,
phenomenal.
good luck surviving the ban from Discord.
Oh no. I like it here though.
Oh my god. No, if that happens, that is entirely because of the lore I put myself in. All right, I need
Yeah.
I need to think about this. I need to calm myself down. It's not any better that I was caffeinated this entire session. As I take another swig of my
Hydration's
coffee.
good.
Anyway,
Hydration's good.
I
I'm
think it's
definitely
time
going-
for tea.
I'm gonna head
Time
off.
for tea.
Thank you guys for joining. I will
Oh, yeah.
see you all next session. Take care, everyone.
Got it.
Yeah.
Later.